What's this? Internalized misogyny? Really? Welcome back to OtakuDaiKun. In the ongoing battle to protect our lovely fandom, we now have a new term to contend with. But first, let's see where this is coming from. Twitter, of course. We've got a person that I've never met tweeting out their passion for Velvet Crow from Tales of Berseria, one of the best character designs to grace this unworthy planet. They say, revenge lesbian is most badass. Fair praise, although I have no confirmation that Velvet's actually a lesbian. That doesn't mean she isn't, just that the game itself doesn't provide definitive proof either way. That's not the issue though. Problem is, not long after this guy tried to celebrate his fandom, some anonymous SJW came in and tried to ruin the fun by remarking, "If only it weren't for the outfit, huh." You see, this is where it gets personal. Nobody throws shade at my waifu. Just take a look at her. She's gorgeous. Intimidating arm wrap covering a voracious demon arm, blades that extend from her iron gauntlets and greaves, a tattered black cloak rivaled only by her wildly flowing hair, enough belts to make Tetsuya Nomura wish he were a Caribbean pirate, and torn up red and black undergarments that scream, "I don't care what you think of me," after she's been tossed through hell. Not that she needs a reason, but her exposed underboob, shoulders, midriff, and thighs just so happen to be justified by the fact that her senses are numb. She doesn't feel heat or cold. Heck, she can't even taste food. Sure, she's sexualized, but it never reaches the point of overshadowing her character. Seriously, compared to more clothed waifu from the same series, she's featured in fewer doujinshi simply because her actions, attitude, and aesthetics are plenty sexy on their own, including when she's got that badass demon arm. Needless to say, I really like this character. One of the reasons why is because I feel empowered playing as her. She's not a victim. She's an unhinged berserker with a grudge. Just looking at her exposed skin and thinking she's any more vulnerable because of it will likely get you killed in a fight with her. It's a nuance that no male character could possibly replicate. Her feminine beauty is turned into a powerful weapon, by her own choosing no less. But if we're going to take the word of this SJW, I must be spouting nonsense. Apparently Velvet has no agency. She didn't choose her outfit, her creator did. Their argument is that pretending Velvet is in charge of her wardrobe is just a lazy excuse to make a strong female character dress slutty, or, dare I say, to satisfy a male gaze. Oh, but the original poster mentions that Velvet's character designer was actually a woman. Let's take a look. Sure enough, her designer is Mutsumi Inomata, an animator who moved up to direct and design characters for various anime. She's currently one of the lead character designers behind the Tales of series. Her illustrations are stunningly beautiful, showing a variety of heroes, from hot-headed men to dainty women to tomboys, and even some pretty androgynous men to please female audiences. She's also responsible for my second favorite Tales character, Mila Maxwell, who apparently got similar shade for bearing midriff in a short skirt. In Tales of Berseria, Mila even says she, as a goddess, chose to descend as a sexy woman exclusively to use her body as an advantage. For her, revealing that feminine form empowers her by her own choice. But apparently SJWs won't buy that argument. Now, why would Mutsumi Inomata make these revealing character designs? Does the fact that she's a woman mean anything to these SJWs? Nope. According to them, she's a victim of internalized misogyny. That's right. There's no way these outfits could be empowering to women, and if Mutsumi finds them empowering or tasteful, it's only because she's conditioned by the patriarchy to think she's empowered. Yikes. Don't get me wrong, the term internalized misogyny does indeed have its place in feminist rhetoric. Human history has been plagued with extreme sexism, and there are many cases where women would just accept their gender roles in society, ironically becoming the ones to enforce those roles. Perhaps some of the things that women wear today can be traced all the way back to the preferences of men, put upon women without their consent. But at a certain point, that origin stops being so important. Cultural symbols change all the time. and some things that started out oppressive toward a certain group have been repurposed by them as symbols of power. What's important is how the individual feels. The problem isn't with what women were forced to wear, but the fact that they were forced to wear it. Freedom of choice should allow women to conform to or reject a particular form of fashion through their own preferences. This means that if women choose to wear clothing that men happen to enjoy, that doesn't mean they're victims of misogyny. Rather, if there's internalized misogyny to be found, it's with women who tell other women what they can and cannot wear. After all, the roots of this misogyny are restriction and oppression. One of the fallacies of modern feminism happens to be this very issue. Not all women are going to reject societal norms, and that shouldn't be a problem, so long as they have a genuine choice. To choose one's own wardrobe is liberating. The Twitter SJW claims to be protecting a fictional woman, while in reality, she just refuses to believe another woman would want to wear what she doesn't approve of. Going back to Kasumi from Persona 5 The Royal, a different SJW cited her high heels in particular as damning evidence of misogyny. I haven't really checked into the history of heeled shoes, but in today's society, I don't really think women choose to wear them entirely out of oppression. Before Sigourney Weaver landed her iconic role as Ripley from the Alien franchise, she had been rejected for auditions for other movies, for being too tall, intimidating her male co-stars. She was discouraged from wearing heels on set and dressing suggestively. So yeah, the Hollywood patriarchy was actually pressuring her not to be like Kasumi, to not be empowered by this type of clothing. Regardless, when Sigourney Weaver went in to audition for Alien, she ignored that oppression, choosing to wear thigh-high hooker boots with 3-inch heels and tight clothing. Apparently, her confidence, her self-empowerment, got her cast as one of the most badass characters in cinematic history because she chose to ignore what society was trying to make of her. My source on this is Fact Fiend with Carl Smallwood, a damn good YouTube channel you should check out. To address this issue with fictional women, I must admit that, in a way, fictional characters actually do have agency, at least when we suspend our disbelief. Remember the Lego Movie? It was a great film in part because it asked a rather profound question. Is there a right way to play? Should you follow the instructions, building things as they were presented to you? Or should you ignore the instructions and build original creations? The beauty of the movie is that it proves that both can be valuable and fulfilling. Neither one is the right or wrong way to approach playing with Legos. And believe it or not, there isn't much difference between our fictional characters and the figures and toys we make for them. On one end, a fictional character can be whatever we want them to be. They are objects, after all. They have no autonomy, nor feelings, so we can shape them as we please, regardless of how they've been written. Nobody has the right to stop you from taking your Darth Vader toy and pretending he's a hero alongside Captain America, or going on a date with Barbie, completely ignoring his established lore. Shipping in anime, which is a fan-favorite form of expression, especially for girls, isn't any different. You can take two characters and ignore their personalities, sexual preferences, and canonical encounters for the sake of fantasizing about them in a relationship. Heck, if you're like Merlin, you can even gender bend or turn all of your characters into futas. Going back to Tales of Berseria, you don't even have to use Velvet's default outfit. You can dress her more conservatively if it pleases you, or, surprisingly, put her in even less clothing. At the same time, however, one of the ways we enjoy fictional characters is through following their established lore and design. We can pretend they're real people, which helps us be immersed in our fiction. It's our choice to treat characters as people or not, and the option to do so is always available. There's also a double standard being applied to objectification. The real threat that objectification seems to present is that people might be conditioned into ignoring the agency of real women. That's the common rhetoric. But I'd like to present an alternate perspective. People objectify their fictional characters precisely because they have no intention of objectifying real women. While I personally find certain outfits or behaviors on a woman sexy, I understand that it's not my body or my choice how they present themselves. In reality, dressing according to my sexual preferences might be very impractical, undesirable, or dangerous. That said, It's not like my preferences change. It's not my responsibility to suddenly find modesty more attractive. And so I fulfill my fantasies through fiction instead. I can fantasize about a woman who genuinely likes wearing revealing clothes, having a justified reason for doing so. Or I can play as them simply because I like the way they look, even if it makes absolutely no sense. On a personal level, I can roleplay a fictional character and present them as if their body were my own. So if you're worried I might impose my tastes upon you, or only concern myself with your appearance, don't be. Those curiosities of mine can be taken care of in a safe space that, honestly, has nothing to do with you. Lastly, I am a male, but the way this SJW seems to pin Velvet's design on the male gaze alone is pretty restrictive. Progressively, aren't we supposed to be more accepting of varied sexual preferences? Are you saying lesbians can't enjoy or feel empowered by Velvet's clothing? What about bi or pansexuals? Even a heterosexual woman can enjoy drawing sexy girls based on their own preferences. It's no longer just a patriarchal practice, and I would hope that makes it more acceptable. The more in touch we are with our fantasies, the less we demand from reality, and the easier it becomes to separate the two. Anyway, I'm really glad Bandai Namco hasn't ever bent the knee regarding Velvet's design, while still making her game teen-rated overseas. Their upcoming mobile game, Tales of Berseria, features both Velvet and Mila as party members, so we can continue to enjoy these characters without remorse. In fact, I'll be covering more of this game as information becomes public, so look forward to it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy this channel, help me beat the algorithm by liking, commenting, and sharing the video, subscribing to OtakuDaiKun, and most of all, smashing that notification bell as if it were your waifu. That way you'll never miss out on all of my anime content, lore videos, live streams, and Holy Waifu Wars polls. My vids are struggling to get featured, so that bell is absolutely critical. If you want to support me directly, check out my Patreon, or consider donating via Super Chat. And as always, celebrate your fandom.